Oprah was finally in the first series, and we gave her a DNA test. Basically, the next day, she went to South Africa to announce that she was opening what became the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy. She was in an auditorium like 75,000 people or something, and she announced that she just had the test and that she was Zulu. It broke on CNN. I was sitting in my living room minding my own business and said, Oprah Winfrey's a Zulu. So I called Rick Kittles, and I said, Rick, did you tell Oprah she was a Zulu? He goes, no, man. She made that up herself. It's a true story. I would lie to make you laugh, but I'm telling you a true story. I said, Rick, are you in your lab? He said, yeah. I said, is anybody there? He said, no. I said, when the results come in, make her Zulu, man. I said, you back there making it up anyway. Nobody believe you can take some spit and figure out a tribe? What, are you crazy?
These DNA tests for ethnicity are entertainment value only.
William Gilliland is a biology professor at DePaul. He says DNA kits can be great for connecting family members and finding relatives, but the science for ethnicity testing isn't as concrete.
There's nothing that confident for ethnicity. There's no diagnostic nucleotide. You can say this person is from Europe, this person's from Africa.
That's the rub. This business of genetic genealogy is fraught with limitations. For one thing, it can only provide information about a tiny fraction of our ancestry. Because we get half our DNA from our mothers and half from our fathers, almost all of our DNA gets shuffled and remixed every generation, making it impossible to trace what comes from whom. There are just 2 bits of DNA that remain pure: the Y chromosome, which passes directly from father to son, and something called mitochondrial DNA, which passes unchanged from mother to child. Hank Greeley, a law professor at Stanford University, has studied this new field. He worries that people don't realize just how many ancestors they actually have.
8 generations ago, both you and I had 256 great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents.
Wait, you're saying that if you go back 8 generations, we have 256 great-great-great-grandparents?
Yes, it doubles every generation. So you've got 2 parents, you have 4 grandparents, you have 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, and it adds up fast. It adds up so fast, in fact, that if you go back 20 generations, you've got over 1 million grandparents.
1,048,576 to be exact. And in each generation, DNA testing can provide information about only 2 of them.
So you could be Peruvian on your mother's 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 side, Japanese on your father's 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 side, Swedish on everything else.
And you'll never know.
And you'll never know the Swedish from the Y chromosome or the mitochondrial DNA.
Now, you've looked at several of these companies that are doing these tests.
Yes.
Do you think that they explain what you just explained to us?
No, I don't think any of them does as good a job of pointing out the limitations. But, businesses often don't go around telling you how weak their product is.
We don't oversell. We just say, look, we provide a service. If you're interested in exploring a tiny bit of your DNA and trace its ancestry, we can do that.
When you say it's a tiny little amount,
It's less than 0.1%.
that's pretty teeny.
Halito Chimanchukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. We got a really interesting one for you guys today, but before we get into it, make sure you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring that notification bell as well, so whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first ones to grab them. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
Genetic testing company 23andMe filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection to initiate the process of selling off its assets, while the troubled firm's co-founder, Ann Wojcicki, who was attempting to take 23andMe private, stepped down from her role with the intent to become an outside bidder for the asset sale. 23andMe went public in 2021 after completing a merger with a special purpose acquisition company, or SPAC. The genetic testing company's market capitalization peaked at $6 billion shortly after going public, with Wojcicki becoming a billionaire. However, since then, the company's share price has plummeted by more than 99% as it failed to turn a profit. In 2023, the company reported a major data breach as hackers managed to gain access to user data through a recycled password attack. The sensitive stolen data was shared on hacker forums, and the sellers claimed it contained over 1 million genetic data points belonging to Ashkenazi Jews. The stolen data also reportedly featured unvalidated entries belonging to tech billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. In a press release, the company said it had initiated Chapter 11 proceedings before the Eastern District of Missouri Federal Bankruptcy Court to, quote, facilitate a sale process to maximize the value of its business. The genetics testing company said it will continue to operate its business while the asset sales process goes through, and there will be, quote, no changes made to how it, quote, stores, manages, or protects customer data. The DNA testing firm also announced its co-founder, Ann Wojcicki, was stepping down from her role as CEO, effective immediately. However, she will continue to serve as a member of 23andMe's board. Last month, Wojcicki partnered with investment firm New Mountain Capital to make a bid to purchase all of 23andMe's outstanding shares for $2.53 per share. But the effort failed after the investment firm pulled out of the deal. If the court approves the Chapter 11 plan, the company plans to solicit bids over 45 days and then conduct an auction if multiple bidders emerge.
Halito family, and welcome to another episode of True Story with Chief Steve. Well, it's finally happened. We've been talking about it for a very long time now on this channel, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, this is something that was in a long time making. You know, it was something that was bound to happen. It was in the works. 23andMe has officially went bankrupt, and not only have they gone bankrupt, they are now selling off the DNA data. The DNA that is so precious to the molecular makeup of not only our people, but the people around the world, everyone who has submitted their information to this company, their data is now up for sale. And not only is it up for sale, it's been sold. As you heard in the article, or the video rather, earlier, they were looking for the highest bidder, and it seems like that bidder has been found. There's been a sale. I got an article here from Neoscope. Ironic that it says highest bidders right there. But the title of it is Bankrupt, 23andMe just sold off all your DNA data, and there's nothing you can do about it. This was published on May 19th, 4:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by Maggie Harrison Dupree. And speaking of May 19th, yesterday was my 33rd trip around the sun. And, I thank you all, Yokoki, and Tatakista. I cherish you all from the bottom of my heart, each and every one of you who had took the time out of your busy day to, send me some positive words and, wishing me a happy birthday and happy born day, strong Earth Day. All of it, I appreciate it. I appreciate it all. I truly do. And, I had a pretty good day yesterday. Not gonna lie. I woke up to a pleasant surprise by my kids. And it was just a really chill day. My wife baked a cake, so it was, and that's something that she really doesn't like doing too much, because sugar effect and everything, but she laid it down. I don't mean that she can't do it. When she do it, so it was great. And plus my son's birthday, my youngest son, he's going to be 4 years old. His birthday is on the 31st. So we ended up just, making it a whole thing, together. So it was mainly for him, but the kids, they definitely acknowledged and honored their father that day yesterday. And huge shout out to you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I cherish you all from the bottom of my heart. Truly made your father proud yesterday. And to my beautiful wife, Yokoki, thank you so much for just being here, just being you, and just doing everything that you do. Okay, not going to get too emotional on this. We're going to keep on moving. We got business to talk about here. Some serious business. Because a lot of our people have taken this DNA journey and have taken it to heart. And a lot of us tried to warn our people of the possible repercussions of this, because for one, we understand and we overstand, once we dug a little deeper into it, when it first started becoming a thing, that this is a entertainment purpose only type deal. This is not a concrete way of proving one's lineage and finding true relatives. And I mean, they say that you can find close relatives and help do your tree domestically, but as far as going and proving ethnicity, in which that's what everybody's running off with, especially on social media, those who go against us, saying who we are and us identifying ourselves for who we truly are, which is the Aboriginal copper-colored people of this land, the indigenous American Indians. They use this as a source of argument. And I must say, this argument has truly fallen through. It's holding no weight. And time and time again, you've had geneticists, you've had biologists, you've had different scientists come out and say that, this is not a concrete way of proving one's ethnicity. These are just roundabout readings based off of present DNA groups that are in that region. But it doesn't prove where your journey has begun. There's nothing to prove that, other than physical paperwork, genealogy, census, vital records, these kind of things, which this has nothing to do with. But yeah, we've tried to tell people, and there have been some Nijis that did go through with it, and that doesn't make them any less of who they are for doing that. They just really decided that this is the time to really try to find out who they are. And I mean, I get it. Hold on, guys, I got somebody knocking at my door. Who is this? Oh, it's my son. Yes?
You have to check the pot.
Okay. Well, hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta check my food. Give me 1 second. Pause for the cause here. And we are back. And like I was saying, yeah, a lot of our people thought that this was a way to go. This was a way to really find out who they are. And to nobody's fault, because this is something that's been propagandized and something that's been pushed in the mainstream, especially with shows by that Professor Gates guy. I saw on a PBS, that PBS show. You guys know the show. Who do you think you are? Yeah. Since that show has gotten so much popularity, the DNA ancestry business has been booming. A lot of our people trying to find out who they are. A lot of others that, honestly, some that can't trace their lineage by paperwork because of so much movement and displacement, it and being in a foreign land themselves. A lot of them really depend on this, and they've really invested a lot of energy and emotion and money into it. Unfortunately, I've had some family members who have participated in the ancestry testing. I'm not sure if it was 23andMe or not, or if it was Ancestry.com. I think it was Ancestry.com. This in particularly has to do with 23andMe, but just the DNA ancestry in general. My family has participated in that. Extended family. No, nobody from my immediate, from my family here. None of my, I have given none of my DNA or my children's, or neither did my wife give her DNA to these foreigners. But I remember a couple of years ago. I think I told the story before on the last video that I did about this. We had family members on my father's side do the DNA ancestry, and they were trying to persuade my grandmother to do it. And if you recall in prior videos, I told you that my grandmother, I had a talk with my grandmother. I was actually our last conversation. Second to last. The last conversation, she really didn't do too much talking, but the last really cognitive, full conversation that I had with my grandmother before she kind of went down in her illness, I remember her telling me that she didn't remember she didn't know anything, rather, not even remember, she didn't know anything about Africa. Her parents never told her anything about Africa. She's not from Africa. She doesn't know of anyone that comes from Africa. Nobody said anything about any kind of African culture, African roots, African traditions. She didn't know about Africa. I mean, just in general, she did not know that there was a place called Africa in the world until she moved to California from Sugar Land, Texas, which was then Herbert, Texas. And she didn't know anything about Africa until she came to California. And even after that, it wasn't until she got into college in the 1960s. This was and if you know your history, that was right when the emergence of, Black Power and the whole, Black studies or Afro studies, when they were really pushing the reclassification and the out of Africa narrative really hard on the most recent indoctrinated generation. She didn't know anything about them until she got into college. All her life, she knew nothing of Africa until she was taught by someone outside of her family about what Africa was. But yeah, I mean, and a lot of us, we have stories like that in our family. We have, firsthand experiences like that. So, and my grandmother on my mother's side, she straight up told us, She told me, she sat me down personally and told me, baby, you're Indian, you're not African. You know? She said, we don't have nothing to do with no Africans. As a matter of fact, Africans don't even like us. So, I mean, that was from her personal experience. And not saying that all Africans don't like us. I'm not on the whole, FBA, F everybody else, type of ideology. But I am on that respect me for who I am and I'll respect you for who you are type of time. And it's about time that companies like these start to go down, that they start to deconstruct, that they start to destruct. And that's what's happening. As the truth is starting to get out, things like this are starting to happen. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and read through this article. So again, this is by Neoscope. Bankrupt 23andMe just sold off all your DNA data. There's nothing you can do about it. My goodness, what's a heck of a title, ain't it? May 19th, 4:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by Maggie Harrison Dupree. All right. Says, your DNA results are in, and they're 100% the property of a pharmaceutical manufacturer. And we mentioned in our last video, second to last video that we did with DNA, about DNA testing, that this company was selling DNA to pharmaceutical companies. Now, but back then, rather, they still held priority or propriety, rather, over the DNA data, but they were selling the licensing of using the DNA data for pharmaceutical research. Now, the DNA data is 100% the property of one pharmaceutical manufacturer. American biotech company Regeneron Pharmaceuticals announced today that it's buying 23andMe, the bankrupt consumer genomics company that sold take-home DNA kits. Regeneron is to pay $256 million in cash to acquire substantially all of 23andMe's assets, including its massive biobank of around 15 million customer genetic samples and data. I'm sorry. Man, it's just, whoo, boy. I closed my eyes when I read that last line. Oh my God. It's just like, wow. But at the same time, they gave it up. You gave it to them. Man. Put simply, the genetic information of millions is now in the hands of a drug maker seeking to mine it to make new therapies, per the Washington Post. So they're using your DNA to make new therapies, which could be a data privacy nightmare in the making. Said samples were willingly given by consumers in exchange for 23andMe to decode their DNA, a process that offered people a fascinating glimpse into their genetic makeup and family histories. That kind of biometric data is both widely valuable and widely sought after. So when 23andMe went belly up financially, its trove of genetic information quickly drew attention as a lucrative asset. Your genetic makeup, everything about you, your melanin down to your very DNA strand is valuable. They understand, they overstand how valuable that is. So despite this company not making money, they're ace in the corner pocket Their ace in their back pocket was your DNA, your genetic makeup, your genes, your being, you. Man, think about that. And it was worth, 15 million people were worth only $256 million. $250,000. They were pretty down bad to sell it for that cheap. Yeah. Okay. That realization immediately sparked concerns among data privacy experts, who warned that a sale of 23andMe data meant that the genetic information of customers, not to mention information about customers' close and distant relatives, was up for grabs to the highest bidder. In its press release, Regeneron said it intends to honor 23andMe's existing privacy practices. Regeneron co-founder and president George, another foreigner, Yankopoulos, man, y'all thought that the last CEO had a hell of a name. Golly. Another foreigner. Regeneron co-founder and president, we're just going to call him George, meanwhile, issued a statement emphasizing the drug maker's deep experience with large-scale data management, having worked with collaborators around the world to link de-identified DNA sequences from nearly 3 million consented participants to electronic health records, safely and securely enabling future medical advances. Wow. They're just doing whatever they want with people's information because they willingly gave it to them. That's the key right there. That's the key right there. You willingly gave it to them. Willing participants, consented participants. He goes on to say, we believe we can help 23andMe deliver and build upon its mission to help those interested in learning about their own DNA and how to improve their personal health. So they're taking the health approach now, fully. What happened to the ethnicity? What happened to learning who we are and linking us to different countries and regions? I thought that's what it was mainly about. I guess that's not what it was about. It was all about pharmaceutical practices. Yankopoulos, I'm doing the best I can. Yankopoulos' statement continued. While furthering Regeneron's efforts to use large-scale genetic research to improve the way society treats and prevents illness overall. Well, at least you know your information is going to a good cause, right? That said, Regeneron isn't just a research lab. It sells the drugs it creates. And should genomic data gleaned from the historic sale lead to the creation and eventual monetization of medications, it raises questions around whether consumers will ever be compensated for their contributions. Well, I can tell you that no, it won't. It won't. Because he's already taking the approach that, hey, these people consented. It's like, it's like a bad SA case or a bad, one of those kind of cases where it's like, hey, we're proving here that this was all consensual. That you consented to this. It's like getting into a bad contract with someone and getting screwed at the end and saying, hey, this was all consensual, baby. You consented. You signed on the dotted line. Your information is mine. There's nothing you can do about it. And if I make money off of it, it's mine to make. Just like the last CEO who became a multi-billionaire and then let the company go to crap. 23andMe board chair Mark Jensen, for his part, said in a statement that the deal maximizes the value of the business and enables the mission of 23andMe to live on while maintaining critical protections around customer privacy, choice, and consent with respect to their genetic data. That's what they say. That was pretty much it, though. It says you can get more right here. 23andMe is selling all your data, largest sale of genomes in history. But yeah, if you want to keep looking into this, you can. Again, this is Neoscope. That's the name of the article right there. You should see the full URL address on top there. But yeah, just to close out, because I'm not gonna hold you guys too long. I mean, it's disappointing. It truly is, and it just further shows that you cannot trust what these foreigners say. You can't. You really can't. You cannot trust what they're saying. They can tell you one thing and completely do another. Everyone thought that their information was safe, and this was a foolproof, concrete thing. They're using it for one reason or one purpose, and that's just literally an entertainment value within it. The main purpose, as it's stated in the article, and as I've stated before in so many videos, and by so many videos, I think I've only done like 2 or 3, but I've stated in all of those videos, and I will state it again in this episode, that this is for entertainment purposes only, and they are using your information, your DNA, your genetic makeup, to manipulate DNA, the DNA in others, for pharmaceutical purposes. And now they're going into full pharmaceutical research to see what other ways, because at first they were only using it for quote unquote cancer research. But now it's all game. It's all Meals on Wheels. Anybody's data could be used for any kind of pharmaceutical purpose or any kind of medical purpose. And they're trying to find different medications and stuff to, as they say, solve illnesses. But as we've been hearing from different things, different places, different sources, they're trying to plan some kind of big event again. It rhymes with Orbit 5 feed. Orbit 19. That's C19. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. They're trying to get something cracking or popping. I don't know too much about it. I've only heard whispers and, things here and there. But I mean, once I get some more concrete data on that, if it has anything to do with our people, best believe Chief Steve will be reporting on it. But for now, on the task at hand, I've been telling y'all, man, DNA, that's precious. That's just as, if not more precious, even more precious than silver and gold. It's precious than any other mineral, because we are made of minerals. We are a commodity. Our genes, our DNA is an asset. It just showed you right there. We are assets to these different companies and research facilities and stuff. They've been experimenting with our DNA and with our cells, with our bodies for years, for centuries. And I've showed you that in a book dating the history from the 1600s. Ever since we taught them about medication, and ever since they've been doing research and experiments. They've been experiencing on or experimenting on Aboriginal people, indigenous people, since they've been here. What makes you think that these foreigners will do anything different today? And it proves, and it's happening with the high mortality rate of our women who are giving birth to children, our high infant mortality rate. You know, yeah. It just goes to show that we got to do better, guys. We have to stay more alert. We have to stay vigilant. For those who did not participate in this, more power to you. I'm glad that you decided to keep that information sacred. I mean, that's everything of who we are. Our ancestors speak to us through our DNA. That's how we're able to relay our message. That's where we get our power from our DNA. You know, it's like Kendrick Lamar said, I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. There's so many attributes. We are a supernatural people. We are literally made up of the same material as the stars in the universe. So we have to take this more seriously. We have to be serious about this. And this is just one company. This is just one. So I encourage you to really take the time and sit down with your family and really let them know, at least make them aware, because at this point there's nothing, there's no kind of compensation coming. There's no kind of at this point of where we know now, there's no kind of compensation. There's no kind of reach out. You have to literally find this information and search it out for yourself. They're operating behind closed doors, and they're able to do that because the people's data that they've gotten, they've consented. The people have consented that information. They've consented to give their information away, to give their makeup, to give their essence, their DNA away to these foreigners. And now with that consent, they're able to do whatever they want with it, and they have done it. And now everyone's DNA who was a part of 23andMe, their data, their information, their genetic makeup is now in the hands of scientists, pharmaceutical companies who want nothing more than to make even more money off of you. And the more money they can keep to themselves without spreading the wealth, the better for them. So, yeah. This by no means was a happy go-lucky video episode, but it had to be done. And at this point, I don't know where it goes from here, family. I just say, just protect yourselves, guard yourselves. There's been reports of our women coming up missing, our children coming up missing, and that's been going on for years and years, and I don't know if that has to do with, I'm not going to try to tie nothing else together. I just want our people to be, this is just an off topic. I just want you guys to be safe out there. Okay, guard yourselves in all ways. Guard yourselves from these companies, and just guard yourself from these evil forces out here. This negative energy that's going around. Counter it with the positive. Keep yourself in a positive state of mind. And not that it's going to be positive all the time, but find that balance. And just continue to stay alert. and aware. Don't get so sunken down into a rut or in such a negative state to where you're unaware of your surroundings. Okay? Because that's key. Paying attention, staying alert, being aware. That's the only way that we can stay strong and we can stay together and we can move forward as a unit to continue to find and acknowledge the truth of who we truly are. Okay? So, yeah, I'll end it on that note. This is Chief Steve signing off. Tatakista, I cherish you all. And Yokoki, thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment, let me know what you guys think down below. We'll see you next time.